As November turned to December, snow blanketed the castle grounds, and the lake froze solid. Students wore scarves and house colors and warmed their hands near enchanted fires. Inside Hogwarts, excitement stirred. The first Quidditch match of the season was fast approaching, Gryffindor versus Slytherin. Harry's nerves were electric. He and Oliver would train constantly. Harry learned to dodge bludgers, control dives in heavy wind, and, most importantly, how to spot the elusive golden snitch. The morning of the match, Harry barely touched his breakfast. Ron clapped him on the shoulder. "Don't worry, mate. You'll be brilliant." The stands were packed, banners waving, cheers echoing through the sky. Lee Jordan announced excitedly from the commentator's box, while Professor McGonagall tried to keep him somewhat professional. Madam Hooch's whistle blew. Brooms shot into the air. And the game was on. Harry circled above the chaos, eyes scanning the field. Below, players dodged bludgers and passed the quaffle. Then, a flash of gold. The snitch. Harry Dove. The world narrowed to a single gleaming dot. But something was wrong. His broom jerked suddenly, bucking beneath him like a wild horse. He gripped tighter, it twisted, flipped, spun. In the stands, Hermione noticed something. Snape, sitting still, lips moving silently, eyes locked on Harry. "He's jinxing the broom," she whispered. "I saw it." Without hesitation, she ran, sprinting beneath the stands, slipping behind Snape's seat. With one quick motion, she lit a small fire under him. Snape jumped, the spell broke, and Harry regained control. With a final burst of speed, he caught the snitch, nearly swallowing it in the process. Gryffindor had won. The common room exploded in celebration that night, but Harry couldn't shake the feeling that something darker was lurking behind the victory. Why had Snape tried to curse him? And why was he seen sneaking around the third-floor corridor? Later, in Hagrid's hut, the three friends tried to make sense of it all. "I don't care what anyone says," Ron grumbled. "Snape's up to something." Hagrid shifted uncomfortably. "You're meddling in things you shouldn't be." "What's he guarding, then?" Harry asked. "The three-headed dog?" "Dog's name's Fluffy," Hagrid muttered. "And that's between Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel, that's all I'm sayin'. The name stuck in their minds. Nicholas Flamel. They searched every book in the library, scanning index after index. Nothing. Even the restricted section, full of whispering pages and howling ink, offered no help, especially after Filch caught Harry sneaking in under the invisibility cloak, a gift that had mysteriously appeared at Christmas. But then, Hermione gasped. "I found him." She burst into the Gryffindor common room one evening holding a large, worn book. "Nicholas Flamel is the only known maker of the Philosopher's Stone." Harry leaned in. "The what?" Harry leaned in. "The what?" Hermione's eyes sparkled with the thrill of discovery. "The Philosopher's Stone," she repeated, lowering her voice to a dramatic whisper. "It's a legendary object, listen to this." She flipped open the book and read aloud. "The Philosopher's Stone is a mystical substance with astonishing powers. It transforms any metal into pure gold and produces the elixir of life, which grants the drinker immortality. The only known maker of the stone is Nicholas Flamel, who is over 660 years old and is still alive to this day." Ron's jaw dropped. No wonder Snape's trying to steal it. Harry frowned. "So that's what Fluffy's guarding, the Philosopher's Stone." They all sat in stunned silence. Outside, the wind howled against the windows, but the room felt still, heavy with realization. "It all makes sense now," Hermione murmured. "That trapdoor, Fluffy, the break-in at Gringotts, remember? The goblins said the vault that was broken into had been emptied that same day. Hagrid took something out, it must have been the stone." Harry nodded. "And brought it to Hogwarts for safekeeping." "But Snape's trying to get it," Ron said grimly. "He tried to jinx your broom." He wants that stone. Hermione looked worried. If someone like Snape got hold of it, he'd be unstoppable, Harry finished. For the next few days, the trio watched Snape like hawks. He disappeared often and limped through corridors, glowering at students. Once, they even spotted him slipping into the Forbidden Forest, alone. And then, something unexpected happened. Norbert. It began one evening when Hagrid nervously invited them over to his hut. His hands fidgeted, eyes darting to the fireplace. "You can't tell anyone," he whispered. "But I, got summit to show you." He stepped aside. Nestled on the fire's embers lay a large, black egg. "Is that a dragon egg?" Hermione gasped. Hagrid beamed. "Norwegian Ridgeback. I won it in a card game." "Hagrid, you live in a wooden hut," Ron said, aghast. "With a fire. Dragons breathe fire." But it was no use, Hagrid was too excited. Over the next week, they helped him care for the egg. They read about dragon care and watched nervously as the shell began to crack. And then, with a tiny roar, Norbert was born. He was adorable, in a dangerous, fong-filled, flame-sparking sort of way. But he grew too fast. By the end of the week, he was the size of a Labrador and had scorched a hole in Hagrid's couch. "We've got to do something," Harry insisted. They reached out to Ron's brother Charlie in Romania, who agreed to take Norbert away. A secret delivery was planned, a midnight flight from the top of the astronomy tower. That night, wrapped in Harry's invisibility cloak, they smuggled Norbert up the tower. Just as Charlie's friends took off with the dragon, Harry and Hermione turned to head back, only to find Filch waiting below. Caught. Professor McGonagall was furious. "I cannot believe you would be out of bed at this hour, and with a dragon," she exclaimed the next morning, her eyes blazing as she looked over the tops of her square spectacles. "You've risked your lives. 5 points from Gryffindor, each." Harry opened his mouth to protest, but one look from her silenced him. "And detention." That word hit harder than the lost points. Detention at Hogwarts wasn't just writing lines or cleaning chalkboards, especially when it came from McGonagall. And soon, they found out what their punishment would be. It was nearly midnight when Harry, Hermione, and Neville, who had also been caught wandering the halls, met Filch at the entrance hall. To their surprise, and dread, Draco Malfoy was there too, scowling. "I warned you," Malfoy said smugly, but Filch cut him off. "Follow me," the caretaker grunted, holding up a lantern as he led them through the dark corridors and out onto the moonlit grounds. They met Hagrid at the edge of the Forbidden Forest. He was carrying a crossbow, Fong trotting at his side. "You'll be helping me look for Summit," he said seriously. "There's a unicorn been hurt. Been finned in silver blood on the leaves. We're gonna split up and see if we can find it." The students paled. "We're going into the forest?" Malfoy whispered. "Course," said Hagrid. "Y'all do fine. Long as ya stick to the path." They divided into 2 groups, Hagrid, Harry, and Hermione in one, Malfoy, Neville, and Fong in the other. Lanterns in hand, they ventured beneath. The forest was dark, silent, unnaturally so. Every rustle of leaves, every crack of a twig underfoot made Harry's heart beat faster. They followed a faint trail of silvery liquid on the ground, unicorn blood. "It's not usual, this," Hagrid murmured. "Unicorns are powerful creatures. Very hard to catch, and they never hurt nobody." Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air. "Neville!" Hermione shouted. They turned and ran, crashing through underbrush, branches whipping at their faces. Hagrid raised his crossbow, barking, "Stay behind me." They found Neville shaking, pale, with Malfoy grinning far too wide. "He jumped," Draco said coolly. "I only touched his shoulder." "That's not funny, Malfoy," Hagrid growled. "Now switch." You're comin' with me, Harry, you two go with Fong. Harry swallowed hard. He and Malfoy walked off deeper into the forest, Fong sniffing the trail ahead. The silence grew heavier. The trees thickened. Then Harry saw it. A clearing bathed in moonlight. And in the center, a figure hunched over a lifeless, white unicorn. It was drinking its blood. The silver liquid dripped from its mouth. The figure turned its hooded head toward Harry, and suddenly, an unbearable pain exploded in his scar. He cried out, falling to his knees. The creature began gliding toward him. Harry was frozen, the pain blinding. But then... thump! A blur of hooves and golden light charged into the clearing. A centaur, tall, majestic, galloped between Harry and the dark figure. The creature fled silently into the shadows. "You are safe now," said the centaur, his voice deep and calm. "Be not afraid, Harry Potter." Harry blinked. "You know my name?" The centaur bowed. "I am Firenze. It is rare for the forest to see humans, rarer still to see the stars tremble." Harry stood slowly. What was that thing? Firenze's face was grave. That was a being who has chosen a cursed life. Drinking unicorn blood keeps one alive, but at a terrible price. They live a half-life, a cursed life, and only if they are desperate to cling to it. Harry's blood ran cold. "Do you know what is hidden in this school, Harry Potter?" "The Philosopher's Stone. And the one who seeks it, was once strong. Now he is weak. He needs the stone to return to power." "You mean?" Firenze looked up at the sky. "You must be careful, Harry Potter. The planets do not lie. Your path is not an easy one." Before Harry could ask more, Hagrid burst through the trees. "Harry! You all right?" "I heard screamin', what happened?" "I'm fine," Harry said, still shaken, but steadied by Firenze's presence. Back in the Gryffindor common room, Harry recounted the whole night to Ron and Hermione. "So it was Voldemort," Ron whispered. "Drinking unicorn blood, trying to get the stone." Harry nodded. "He's weak. He's trying to come back." Hermione was pale. "That means we don't have much time." Harry stared into the fire. He knew, now more than ever, that he had to stop whoever was after the stone, before it was too late.